Welcome to the podcast, where we dive deep into the world of best-selling books. Each week, we explore the latest hits and timeless favorites that are captivating readers everywhere. Join us as we unpack the stories, themes, and characters that make these books unput-downable. Whether you're looking for your next great read or curious about what everyone's talking about, you're in the right place. So grab your coffee, settle in. This is the podcast, powered by OnCue New Media.
Love and Misadventure. Lang Leav's poetry collection title alone, it really sets the stage, doesn't it? Playful, but kind of heartbreaking, maybe even a little nostalgic.
Yeah.
But what I find really interesting is how it connects to the book's structure. You've got Misadventure, then the Circus of Sorrows, and then finally, Love. What do you make of that?
It's like, almost like Leav is taking us on this journey through all the emotional phases of love. Like first you've got the missteps, heartbreaks, the misadventures.
Yeah.
Then you go through the Circus of Sorrows, like the raw.
Yeah.
Just the sorrows. And then finally she leads us to, you guessed it, love. It speaks to that cyclical nature of love, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's like she's saying you almost need those experiences, those misadventures, that sorrow to fully appreciate love when it does come along. Yeah. And she dives right into those complex emotions right from the get-go. Like just look at some of these poem titles. When Ignorance is Bliss, A Stranger.
Oh yeah, even those titles alone, those just pique your curiosity. Right?
Definitely. Take When Ignorance is Bliss, for example. She writes, I deplore being ignored, for I am not a bore, but it's perplexingly sweet and quite sexy too to be ignored by you.
She nails it.
Right.
It's that feeling.
That strange mix of like, oh, why aren't you paying attention to me? But also, ooh, mysterious.
Totally. It's like being ignored somehow creates this air of mystery. It sucks you in, even though logically you know it shouldn't.
Exactly. And then there's A Stranger, where she talks about this yearning for someone she's never even met. She says, I wonder how it is I miss these things I've never known.
It's so interesting.
The idea that you can long for something you've never even experienced.
It's like that's the real beauty of Leav's work. She has this way of tapping into this universal yearning for connection. It goes way beyond anything we've actually experienced ourselves. And she captures that yearning so well, especially in Dead Butterflies. She uses this really vivid image of a pinned butterfly, frozen, unable to really live. It's like this powerful metaphor for unrequited love.
Oh, you're so right. That image is haunting, but in a way that makes you want to keep reading.
For sure.
It really highlights what makes Leav's work so impactful. It's simple, but it's striking. The way she uses imagery, those emotions, they stay with you long after you've finished the poem.
100%. She's got this knack for just capturing these really complex feelings in a way that's so relatable. Like she's giving us permission to really feel the messiness of it all, the love, the heartbreak. It's refreshing, honestly.
Speaking of things that stay with you, I noticed how often Leav uses time as a motif in her work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you see titles like A Timeline, Time Travelers, A Time Capsule. It's like time itself is a character in this whole journey of love and misadventure.
Right. Like it's not just this abstract thing. It's woven into the fabric of the poems.
Exactly. And you picked up on something really interesting about that. You were saying how Leav uses time almost like a double-edged sword.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes it's this healing force, like it can mend a broken heart. But then other times it feels like time is stealing those precious moments you want to hold on to forever.
It's true. And she captures that duality so well.
And, speaking of time, we have to talk about rogue planets. That poem, the way she uses a countdown as a metaphor for falling in love, brilliant.
Oh, I love that one. It gives me chills every time I read it. That feeling of anticipation, like something big is about to happen.
Right, but at the same time, there's this undercurrent of almost fear.
Yes, like you're on this runaway train and you can't get off, even if you wanted to.
Exactly. That's exactly what it feels like to fall head over heels for someone, just exhilarating and terrifying all at once.
100%. And then there's another technique Leav uses that really struck me. The direct address, this intimate you that pops up throughout her poems.
Oh yeah, it's like she's speaking directly to you, right?
It's so powerful. It creates this amazing sense of connection with the reader, this feeling like she's sharing something deeply personal, like in sad songs where the boy can only communicate through music.
I know, right? It just breaks your heart.
It does. It's such a powerful image, the idea that art can sometimes express what words can't. And it's the way she addresses the reader, as if they are the only one who really hears these sad songs, the one who understands their weight.
It speaks to that deep need for connection we all have, that desire to be seen and understood.
Absolutely. And what I find so remarkable is that Leav's poetry, it's so accessible. She uses simple language, but the emotions she evokes are so vivid, so raw.
Right, it's not bogged down with complicated metaphors or obscure references. She just cuts straight to the heart of it.
It's like she's giving you a glimpse into her own vulnerabilities, and in doing so, she gives you permission to do the same.
Absolutely. And I think that's a big part of why her work resonates with so many people, especially young readers. It feels authentic, like she's speaking their language.
Totally. She captures those universal experiences, the joys and heartbreaks that we all go through, in a way that feels both deeply personal and totally relatable.
You know, speaking of capturing those raw emotions, I'm curious about your take on the visual aspect of Leav's poetry. Because she really paints such vivid pictures with her words. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And it says in her bio that she's a visual artist as well as a poet. So I'm wondering, do you think those two creative outlets, do they influence each other?
Oh, I think so. Definitely. Her poems, they often feel like snapshots of emotion, like she's capturing these fleeting moments perfectly.
Yeah.
And the way she uses sensory detail, it's so powerful. It really draws you in.
It's like she finds a way to bottle up those really visceral experiences, those raw emotions. Like, for instance, in Mornings with You, when she describes bed sheets feeling like wrapping paper on Christmas morning.
Yes.
I mean, it's such a simple image, but it just evokes such a specific feeling, that pure joy and excitement.
Exactly. And that's what makes her work so captivating, I think. She doesn't just tell you about an emotion, she makes you feel it right alongside her. It's like you're stepping into a photograph and experiencing the emotion behind the image.
It's interesting, too, because for all the talk of Misadventure and the Circus of Sorrows, Leav's work, it doesn't really leave you feeling heartbroken. If anything, it's strangely hopeful.
That's true. Yeah, it is. It's like, I think it's the honesty in her work. She lays her heart bare, embraces all the messiness of being human, and in doing so, she kind of reminds us that we're not alone in those feelings.
It's like even in the midst of all the heartbreak and uncertainty, there's still beauty to be found, just in the simple act of feeling, of connecting with ourselves and the world around us. And it reminds me of that line from Angels where she writes, "That's because the light is coming from you. You can't see it, but everyone else can."
Oh, wow.
What a powerful message, right?
It really is. It's like it makes you think about the strength that we often don't see in ourselves, The way we might be a source of light for other people even when we feel like we're struggling.
That's a beautiful thought to end on. It makes you think about those poems that we all carry within us, the stories we tell, the emotions we share, and the impact they have on those around us. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into Lang Leav's Love and Misadventure. We'll leave you with this. Is there a poem or maybe even just a line that really resonated with you? What does it tell us about our own journeys with love, with loss, and with that universal search for connection? Until next time, keep exploring, keep feeling, and keep diving deep.
Join us again next time here at the podcast, where we dive deep into the world of best-selling books. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for future podcast notification. This is the podcast, powered by OnCue New Media.